Hello and welcome to this training for the DAC funding process. We appreciate you being a part of David Allen Capital. We also appreciate the fact that you're willing to go through training so you can represent our company properly and also most effectively. What we're going to cover in this training is we're going to talk about DAC and our funding. We're going to talk about how to attract clients, the process you'll put a client through from pre-qualification all the way through to funding. Also, we're going to talk about renewals, refinancing, and some other types of new business capital we're providing now. And also, we're going to talk about how you get agent support. A little bit about David Allen Capital. Number one, as you know, this is a flexible opportunity. You can work part-time, working when you want from where you want. There's no investment required, as you know. You've already started with us. And yet there's immediate income potential available to you. You simply connect business owners with our funding sources, and as you know, we've expanded into other services now as well. But when you introduce someone to our funding source, which this training is about, they get working capital from $10,000 up to $1 million, where a big bank can't help them, we can. You get paid 4 to 6.5%. And of course, you want to go through the compensation plan training after this training so you know how to climb that ladder. But here's a hint. The more clients you get, the higher the percentage you make on those clients, okay? So as you get more clients, you earn more on the clients that you acquire. No experience is required. We'll provide the training and support, as you know, and you're plugged into some right now. So a little bit about DAC. We're a Michigan-based company, started in 2015 by myself. My name is David Rutz. It's a pleasure to have you part of our family. We love DAC. We love helping business owners, and we're glad that you believe what we believe and you want to help business owners as well. That's one of two reasons why I started this company was, number one, I know what it's like to be a business owner. I know what it's like to want working capital to help you with your growing company or take advantage of opportunities, and I understand what it's like when a big bank simply can't help you. There's nothing wrong with the big banks. They're just not designed to be business banks getting businesses money to grow. There's alternative capital providers now who do that. That's who we represent. So when I learned of that, I wanted to help business owners. Secondly, I love helping people like you have an agent opportunity. I've been involved in the home-based business space now since 1991 as an agent. It allowed me to get out of my career at General Motors, and then I became a company owner in this space. It's been very successful, helping hundreds of thousands of agents get started over the last 20 years in their own home-based business. So when I learned of this alternative capital, I was very excited to give someone like you an opportunity where you can make significant income potential up front without having to build a big team of agents, yet you could build a team. And do so by helping business owners make good money. That's tremendous. So we partnered with a company a couple years ago called Longevity. I partnered with them to help diversify our business and stabilize our company for growth. We've been profitable every year, actually, but being partnered with a publicly traded company, over 20-year-old, helps give credibility to our agents, of course. You got to be comfortable knowing that we're part of a company that's doing over $200 million in sales and is 20-year-old and publicly traded, so all the numbers are transparent. That should give you comfort. I know it gives most comfort. And also, Longevity wanted me to expand our product services offering. So not only are we doing business capital now, but we're also now through DAC Telecom offering business phone service, internet data. We also have payment processing. We also have DAC Healthcare, which is healthcare helping business owners save money on the healthcare they're providing their employees. Very, very impressive. But this training is all about the business capital, so let's keep focusing on our funding, okay? There's 4 alternatives for a business owner to get capital. It's important that you understand this so you know where we fit in the marketplace. Let's say there's a restaurant owner there. They want to add more seats. They want to expand the restaurant. You know, it's been said, by the way, restaurants, for every seat they have, it's about $20,000 a year in revenue. So when you expand, add more seats and more tables, it's more opportunity to generate revenue. So let's say they need $100,000 to expand the restaurant. They have 4 choices. Number 1 is their savings. If they've got it, they may choose to use it. Number 2, friends and family. Okay, if they have friends and family willing to give them money, maybe they do that. Number 3, though, what most people think is they go to the big bank, right? Well, the big bank could help them. They could say, here, you need to get a credit card. Well, a credit card's probably not going to cover $100,000, and most business owners don't have good enough credit to get a real high credit card. Or they could say, we've got something called a line of credit. A revolving line of credit is just like a credit card, but it gives a little higher balance. But again, you have to have impeccable credit, and it's very hard to get a line of credit more than $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 unless you have a lot of collateral to put up, which becomes the third way a bank will help a business owner, which is put up a bunch of collateral. Do you own a building? Do you own property that your business is on? How much is that all worth? How much equity do you have in it? Will you put that up as collateral? Those are collateralized secured loans, okay? And the fourth way is a real estate mortgage for their home. A business bank will generally say, hey, listen, we can't get you $100,000, but you have $100,000 in equity in your home. We could also always refer you to our mortgage department, and they can get you a home equity line of credit. So all four of these are potential, and about 20% of the businesses out there qualify for these. About 20%, because you need to have great credit, or you need to have a lot of collateral, or both. Okay, so most businesses don't qualify for this. This is where we fit in. The alternative capital space is what we're focused on. We're helping people that the big banks won't help. About 80% of the businesses out there is our marketplace. They need funds. You get them capital. You introduce them to us. We take them to all of our different providers, and we find the best offer for them. They get funds quickly. You simply inform them that other sources do exist, and when they need that capital, they proceed forward. And because we represent many providers, and we represent all the top alternative capital providers, that equals best offer for your clients. It also equals quicker approvals and better funding. We say one-stop best offer. If you're looking for airline tickets, you go to a website, you type in where you're going, and you let Expedia find you the lowest airline price, right? If you want auto insurance, you go to esurance.com and you type it in, it comes back with the best prices, right? If you want business capital, you go to David Allen Capital. The client types in their information. We find them the best offer. Now, we're better than the big banks too. Why? Well, number one, our providers want to say yes to business owners. They don't require a real strong credit score. In fact, they value cash flow over credit score, okay? It's simple and fast. We get an approval as fast as one day. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3, and then funding happens within 1 or 2 days after that. So in under 1 business week, they can have their capital. We do from $10,000 to $1 million, all short-term opportunity-based capital. We give them money quickly, and they turn it into more money quickly, right? So it's short-term payoff. No collateral required. This is huge. We don't ask them for their house appraisal. We don't need to do an appraisal. We're not asking them to put their house up or their business up. These are all collateral-free based, cash flow-based loans and advances. It's impeccable. Simple qualifications. Check this out. They've been in business 4 months. They're somewhere in the United States. They have a personal credit score of at least 500. They have minimal bounce checks. And they have a revenue of at least $100,000 per year, so $10,000 per month. I'm going to stay here for a minute. If you've got someone in business 2 months, they should not apply. They will not get approved. They do not qualify. These are pre-qualifications right here. If they're not in the United States, they should not apply. If they're not doing at least $10,000 a month, they should not apply. If they've been bouncing a bunch of checks, they should not apply. When they go to fill out our pre-qualification form, we ask them these questions, and that helps them advance, of course. So you may say, okay, great. We're getting quick capital. It's easy. The qualifications are a lot easier. What are the rates? Well, we don't use rates as an answer to what are the rates. Why? Because most business owners don't understand rates anyway, or what they mean by rate. As an example, you could have a mortgage with a 4% interest rate, and I could have one with a 5%, and you could be paying more. But wait, how could that be, David? I've got a 4% rate and you got a 5%, because the rate doesn't determine the cost. Rate is only one part of it. It's how often does it compound? What is the term of the loan? When is the prepayment? Is the compounded rate daily, monthly, annually? What is that? Is the rate a monthly rate, or is it an annual rate? What is it? Is it an adjusted APR rate? It's confusing, right? So we just talk dollars. We go simple. We just show them the dollar cost. Here's an example. Yes, we've approved you for $100,000. You have to pay back $130,000. What does it cost? What's the rate? $30,000 in cash. Right? It's going to cost them $30,000. So the business owner can quickly decide right now, okay, this $100,000, I'm going to do A, B, and C with it. It's going to cost me $130,000. Do I want to proceed? They don't need to know anything else except what's it cost. And they get to, we call it a total cost of capital. and they can make a quick decision. And if the benefit outweighs the cost, they proceed. So our funding costs generally range from 1.2 to 1.5 times the funded amount. So in this case, 100,000 times 1.3 equals 130. If they were a higher risk and they were at the worst case 1.5, they'd have to pay back 150, right? If they borrowed 10,000, they'd pay back 15. This is worst case. Our average is about 1.3 to 1.4 because we're dealing in a higher risk space. If they've got great credit, great package, it's 1.2 to 1.3, right? But on average, we're dealing in a 1.3 to 1.4 space most often, okay? So the benefits, again, if the benefits outweigh the cost, they proceed. I'm going to give you a quick story. I had a client one time when we first got in this space. They were approved for $100,000 to expand their patio on their restaurant, but they had to pay back $150,000. Okay? And so they had a 1.5. I told them they were declined because I didn't want to offer a price so high. I didn't know. I was new in the space, but I just thought that was way too high. But she was declined everywhere else. And when she was very upset, she's like, you don't understand. I've got lines out the door. I don't have enough room in my restaurant. I'm constantly turning people away. We're missing out on all this revenue. I need $100,000. I got to find $100,000. I said, well, we've got you an approval for $100,000, but it's crazy high rate. You have to pay back 1.5 or $150,000. She said, I'll take it. There was no discussion. She says, you don't understand. What I'm missing out on is probably $50,000 per month in revenue. I don't mind paying $50,000 one time to expand my restaurant. She took the funds. She did over $400,000 in extra revenue that year and every year since. Isn't that cool? Or expect to every year since. So if the benefits outweigh the costs, they say yes. If not, they say no. Now, pain-free repayment. This is huge. Our business owners love this. Some don't like it up front, but they love it once they use it. See, most people have a monthly payment mentality. Like your mortgage is due once a month. Maybe you pay it twice a month. Your car payment's paid once a month, right? So it's a monthly, what we call lumpy payment. Those are your biggest payments, aren't they? And you better have that money, right? But you don't miss the Starbucks $5 a day, right? You don't miss the $3 a day or $7 a day for lunch. Even though you add that up at the end of the month, it's a big payment. So what happens is our providers have all learned it's a lot easier for clients to stay current and not have a struggle paying it back if they do a small payment. There's 20 banking days a month. If they take that $6,000 monthly payment as an example, it would be 20 micro payments of $300 a day. So the clients stay current far easier. The providers provide far more deals, and it's a real easy to understand offer and a really easy way to pay it back. So here's an example. You've been approved for $25,000. You have to repay back $32,500. The term is 9 months. Your payment will be $180 per day. That'll be Monday through Friday, not on weekends, not on holidays. You'll pay $180 a day for 9 months. Now keep in mind, you're doing about $2,000 a day in sales, so you probably won't miss that $180 a day. And then this is how the offers get presented to your clients. They don't miss the $180 a day. They don't even feel the payment. They're making a payment of, you could do the math, 180 times 20 is $3,600 a month they're paying, but they don't miss the $3,600 a month because they're paying a little payment of $180 a day. And again, they're doing sales every day, so they don't miss it. The cash flow gets them approved. It also gets them paid off. So, somewhere why our funds make sense. Number one, we serve bankable and unbankable. That means they can get approved, but don't want to wait the 2 months to get the funds. Banks sometimes will approve someone, but they take a long time. We also help unbankable clients. We fuel entrepreneurs to grow more. We help with time-sensitive opportunities. We help business owners get through a pinch. And basically, imagine this. If you own a business, if you had a benefit that you wanted to pursue, like growth or inventory discounts or expansion or remodeling or marketing campaign or billboard campaign or new website or whatever it is, and you knew that it cost you money to do it and you couldn't get money anywhere else, do you see how it'd be nice to have us as an option? It's a free application with no obligation to proceed. You can find out what you can get approved for. You can always say no, right? So let's go through the process of pre-qualification to funding. And then we'll talk about how to attract clients. Number one, it's a simple funding process, okay? This is the way it works. You get your own website, and your client would go to your website, And they would click on, they could watch the video, but they'll probably click on the Qualify Now button. When they click on Qualify Now, a pre-qualification form is going to come up. They fill out that pre-qualification form, and after they fill out the pre-qualification form, a couple things are going to happen. One, you're going to get an email that says, congratulations, a client completed the pre-qualification form at your DAC site, and it's going to have an email telling you all about it, who the business is, what their phone number is, etc. Okay, but also what's going to happen is our team is going to take over now and reach out to your client. And we're going to tell them about the package that they need to submit, which is a one-page application, printed application. They're going to have to print it out, fill it out, and sign it, scan it, and send it back to us. PDF of their bank statements, which is 3 months of their bank statements, driver's license, and voided check. Those are the things we have to get. Now, that's emailed to your client. We tell them that, and then we, of course, tell them that over the phone. Now, every line on that application needs to be filled out. We need every page of the bank statements. We're not talking about a print-off transcript. We're talking about the bank statements that are mailed to their office, right? Or a PDF version of that, which pretty much every bank now, you can go in and download your old statements, okay? Print out or emailable PDF statements. We also need a copy of their driver's license, and we need a copy of their voided check. Now, on the application, we need at least 50% ownership on there. So if there's 2 owners, both of them are going to have to be on the application. If there's 3 owners at 33% each, you need at least 2 owners on the application, right? So at least 50% of the business ownership must be included on the application. Now, once we have a completed package, this is when we go to work for you. We go out and represent, we look at the package and we go represent your client to all of these providers. And we go find them the best offer. We do it in under a day, all right? This is all automated, right? After our eyes look at it, that's the only manual process. Then it's all automated. We go out to our providers. We find the best offer for them, and we then present that to your client. At this point, your client can say no, can't they? We're not going to close them. We're going to offer them the best offer we can find, and we're going to let them decide whether the cost is too high or the benefit is higher than the cost and they want to proceed. If the cost is too high for them and they do not want to proceed, we don't tell them they're ignorant. We don't get all over them. We're not trying to close anything. We are here to serve your clients with capital that puts them in a better situation. We're not promoting debt. We're promoting working capital to put to work to go make something happen. I wouldn't tell you to buy a dump truck unless you're in the business of moving stuff that you need a dump truck, right? Then I would tell you you should probably have a dump truck. Even if you have to go in debt to get that dump truck, you need a dump truck to go build your business, right? I wouldn't ask someone to take out capital with us unless that capital was going to help them make more money. And you shouldn't either. We're here about serving clients. So if the cost of the capital is less than the benefit, then they should proceed. If the cost of the capital is more than the benefit, then they should say no. At this point, they can say yes or no. Good news is for you, over 80% of the time, they see the benefit is greater than the cost, and they say, yes, let's proceed. We then go to the provider, and we get a copy of the advance or loan documents. We call it advance because in many states, these are advances against their future sales, not actual term loans. But they work the same way. Money is given and money is paid back each day, right? But sometimes it's called an advance document or a purchase of future sales. Other times it's called a loan. It doesn't matter. In the end, it works the same way. The money is provided to the client, and then it's paid back daily with the daily micropayment. Sometimes we do weekly payments, but that's harder to get approved for, and they usually charge a little bit more for a weekly payment. So daily payment is what we lead with. But you may say, do you ever do weekly? Yes, sometimes we do, but we don't decide that. The provider does. Okay, and we offer it if it's available. We recommend daily, though. So we then get the documents signed by your client. We present it back to our provider. Sometimes there's a final stage of underwriting. The funds are wired to your client. So, again, what are the document requirements? A one-page paper application, every line filled out, 3 months bank statements per account. If they've got 2 checking accounts, we need bank statements for both accounts, okay? We don't want just one. We need both, especially if they're moving money between accounts, but it doesn't matter if they're not. Every checking account they have, we need copy. If they're taking credit cards, we need 3 months of their merchant processing statements, okay? We need those. If they don't take credit cards, we don't need them. If they do, we do, however. driver's license, and a voided check. Now, sometimes we need last year's filed business taxes, so we tell them that in the email, but we can proceed with most of our providers without the business taxes. But we tell them we may need them so they know. And lastly, I'll say this, sometimes there's other documents requested as well. It depends on the size of the funding. The more money they get, sometimes they'll ask for, hey, we need a copy of your lease. Or we need a document that shows you're the owner, because at the state of Michigan records, it doesn't show you're the owner. So sometimes there's other documents requested, but just know this is the standards, all right, the top 5. Now, you'll get status updates from us, from our submissions department. We'll send you status updates every time the status changes, all right? If you're not hearing from us, it's because nothing's changing yet. Right? You can also always email submissions@davidallencapital.com to check on your client. Again, we'll notify you as soon as you have a client in the system, and then we'll notify you as status changes. Okay? So again, a couple final points about this funding process. You simply get them to your website. We take over from there. We do encourage you to congratulate your client, though, after you've got the pre-qualification form. And just say, hey, congratulations on your pre-qualification. I know you've heard from David Allen Capital already. Make sure you open that email and get those documents back. If you have any questions, let me know. I can get you on the phone with the internal expert on our team to help you out. So congratulate them. It helps them look for the email. Many times they don't even know we've reached out to them yet. Okay? The package I've already talked about, every page is needed in that package. Many times clients will submit incomplete packages, or they'll say they're doing $10,000 a month in sales, and the bank statements will say $3,000. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get them approved, right? Doesn't matter what they say if the bank statement shows something else. We're going to go find them the best offer. We're going to present them with the terms, but the part I wanted to talk about is where it says funds wired to client. Between the time we get the signatures back from your client and the time they're funded, some of our providers do a final stage of, maybe it's called a banking call or a landlord verification. There's sometimes they want to talk to your client over the phone because this has all been done through email. So they sometimes want to talk through, make sure, do you understand how much money you're getting? Do you understand the payment back? It is your business. So it's called a funding call. Sometimes there's a landlord verification because they just want to know that their business really is in that location that it says, because there's no way to verify a business location from the state records unless they own the building. If they're renting, there's no way to know. So very rarely, but sometimes they'll ask for a landlord verification. But we let your client know all this. But there's times where we'll get the PDF signatures back, and then the deal will still be declined between time they sign it and it's supposed to get funded, because something will turn up squirrely after they've signed the documents. Like, they'll do a bank verification call with the bank, and they'll find out the bank statements were fraudulent. Well, we make decisions based on those statements, right? Everything's based on those bank statements being real. But they do a bank verification, or what's called not DocuSign, but Decision Logic. Decision Logic is an automated process where they can verify the bank statements are legitimate. And they go do that and they find out, whoa, they completely fabricated the bank statements. Well, of course it's going to get declined. So just because a client signs the documents does not mean they're getting funded. Another issue could be it's August 17th, let's say, and they're approved for funding based on their July bank statements, and they go forward, and then they do the Decision Logic in August, and they see they've had 0 sales in August. What's going on? Or they just took a big loan 3 days ago, and they didn't tell us about it. Well, we're not going to know that on their bank statements, right? So Decision Logic reveals a few things, like they're negative in their bank, they bounced a bunch of checks this month, or the bank statements were fraudulent, or they just took a big loan 2 days ago or 2 weeks ago, and they didn't tell us, right? And it's not in their bank statements. Those are all things that would make a deal decline in the final stages. So just know that until the deal funds, it's not totally funded, right? You get paid after it funds. But I just want you to know sometimes they can go south at that point. Our team, of course, is looking to help you all the way along. So now, how do we attract clients? This is the best part about this. You're helping to serve business owners. So before you go out and talk to clients, I want to make sure you believe what we believe. If you don't believe what we believe, then we're not the right home for you. All right? This is why. Number one, we believe business owners are rock stars. We believe they're the ones employing America. They're the ones starting new companies. They're the ones starting the new Fortune 100 companies. You know, today's startup pizzeria is tomorrow's Domino's or Little Caesars or Jet's Pizza or Papa Romano's, right? They all start small, right? Today's Sally's hair salon is tomorrow's Sally's beauty supply, right? And they're a national conglomerate. They all start small. We believe in them. We want to help fuel them. We are not trying to make money on business owners. We are not selling to business owners. We are not trying to hook a business owner to capital. When I walk into a business and talk to them about capital, I am not trying to earn a commission. I'm not. I know I get a commission. I am leading with the mission that we're on, which is serving business owners. All right? We want to help fuel the business owners of America. We want to help. When you go into a town, the town you're in, you want to make sure every business owner in that community knows that if they need capital and they can't get it from their bank, you are their source, because funding options are limited. And if they can't qualify for that big business loan, or they don't have savings, or they don't have friends and family, and they don't have equity to put up a home, then you are their only option. And you want them to know, we're here to let you know, we believe in you. If we can get you capital to help you grow your business, we want you to know we exist. And many times alternative capital is their best option. You got to know this. Do you believe that many times their funding options are limited? If you don't, then you should move on. If you don't believe alternative capital is their best option, there is spelled wrong there. If you don't believe alternative capital is their best option 70% of the time or more, then you're probably not going to believe in what we're doing. But these are all facts. Okay? Now, because alternative capital is the best option, DAC becomes their best source of alternative capital. Why? We represent all the providers. You may have heard of a company called Quicken Loans. They own a company called Rapid Finance. We represent them. There's another company called On Deck Lending, publicly traded. We represent them. But then there's a host of smaller companies that you've never heard of that many times beat the big companies. Right? They come in with better offers. So we represent all of them. We don't represent any of the garbage providers who are predatory lenders, taking advantage of people, stealing their accounts if they miss one payment. We don't deal with any of those people. We don't deal with any of that garbage stuff. They're out there, though, but we're not in that space. We don't represent those providers. All right? And the last belief I'll say is this. We aim to please your client. We aim to help them. We're not aiming to hurt them. So our free application, no obligation means we don't make a dime unless they're pleased with the offer and proceed. We're not charging them $3,000 to go build their credit to hopefully get them money, or $5,000 to build their credit, or $999 to go get them a business government loan and hopefully they'll get it. We don't do any of that. If we don't get them funding, we don't get paid, and we're not in the business of strapping them with debt. We're in the business of getting them working capital to grow their business. All right? So knowing all that, if you don't believe everything I just said, it's time to leave the training. If you like what I just said, then let's go serve some business owners. How? You meet them, you greet them, and you inform. So keep in mind, you're providing a solution. You're not selling. They are business owners and they can do great things with this money. You need to empower them and fuel them. Or they might be in a pinch and you can give them relief. All right? Now, third thing is they may say no right now. They don't want it right now, which is great. But they need to know for later. I liken it like this. Let's say you got a car and your gas tank is full right now. Are you pulling into the gas station you're driving by? No. Is it because gas stations aren't any good? No, it's because you don't need fuel. When do you pull into the gas station? When you're on E, right? Or getting near E. And you say, hey, I need more fuel. Many business owners you're going to talk to and let them know you're in business capital, and you become their money person. They don't need it right now, though. It may be 6 months from now where they come back and say, hey, you talked to me about that business capital. I have a unique opportunity. I need $75,000 for it. Do you think you can help me? And then they're going to come back to you because you inform them that you're in business capital. See, that's what you got to do is you just meet them, greet them, and inform that you have alternative capital sources for them. When the big banks can't help them, you can. Or if the big banks can't help them fast enough, you can. So you get the word out. Number one is you want to get the word out to all your friends, family, and social network that you are a business capital person. Many of my referrals come from people that aren't business owners, but they know I'm in business capital. Once your friends and family and all your social network knows you're in business capital, guess what? They're going to tell others about you. They're going to tell business owners they know about you. They're going to tell you about, hey, my uncle was telling me they're looking for capital. Why don't you reach out to them? I told them you'd reach out to them. Or, hey, Louie's Pizza, I know you said you're looking for capital. I got a friend, Marcy. She just put up on Facebook that she's in alternative business capital. She helps business owners when the bank can't. Louie, you want me to introduce you to Marcy? And then Louie's introduced to your website. But if you don't get the word out, guess what? You fail. I'm going to tell you this right now. Number one right here, most of you watching this won't do this. You won't do this, and it's a mistake. I'd say at least 50% of my clients come from referrals from people who know I'm in this space. If you don't believe in what we're doing, then don't do it. And if you believe in what we're doing, then share it. Promote it. Promote it. Promote it. Promote it. Secondly, you want to inform business owners you know that you're in business capital. You notice how it doesn't say sell business owners or get them to get a loan. It's inform them that you're in business capital so that when they need to fuel their tank, you become their source. If they can get money from the big bank instead of us, they should. If they can wait the 6 weeks to 8 weeks or 12 weeks to get approved, and they've got impeccable credit, and they've got a bunch of collateral they can put up as security, then they should wait and get it from a big bank. They're going to pay less. But if they can't get approved, they're one of the 75%, 80% who can't get approved, or they don't want to wait because they're in a time-sensitive opportunity and they can't wait that 6 weeks. Or they can get approved, but they don't want to put the house up on the line because their spouse is feeling a little insecure about their business, putting them at risk, or they're feeling that themselves. Then when they need capital, they'll come see you. But if you haven't informed them that you're in business capital, they won't see you. Canvas as a customer. This is a third technique. This means, not a technique, it's a philosophy. When you're in a restaurant and you don't know the owner of that restaurant, you introduce yourself to the owner. When you're in a tanning salon and you don't know the owner of that salon, you introduce yourself. If you're taking little Johnny to get his hair cut and you don't know the owner of the salon or the barbershop, then you introduce yourself. If you have construction being done on your house and you don't know who owns the roofing company, it's time to introduce yourself. That means canvassing as a customer. While you are a customer, introduce yourself to the owner. And do number 2, inform the business owner that you're in business capital. Step 4, networking or canvassing an area. I like to look at a little town in my mind. I go, okay, this little block here in my town, I want to make sure every one of those business owners knows who I am and that I'm their source of business capital if and when they need it. So I'm going to introduce myself to every business owner in this town. Hey, Joe, listen, I just want to introduce myself to you. My name is David. I'm with David Allen Capital. Hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, the reason I want to introduce myself is we represent providers who actually love to get money for businesses like you. So I know sometimes the big banks are great. Sometimes they can't help those. So if ever you have an opportunity you want to pursue or you're ever in a tight pinch, I just want you to know who I am. I want to give you my card. We have simple and fast business funding. If you ever need some, check us out. It's free application, no obligation to proceed, but we'll find a good offer for you. If you like it, you run with it. If not, no problem. But I just want to give you this card. That's an example of what you would say to a business owner. And hey, Joe, can I get your card back? What type of, okay, great. You're in clock repair? Great. How long have you been in the clock repair business? Wow, do people still do that? Yeah, it's fabulous. Who would be a good candidate in case I come across someone that I could refer your way, Bill? And you get to know the business owner. You're building a relationship. You're not selling loans. You're not selling advances. You're getting to know a business owner. And you're building a relationship so that everyone in that town knows that you're in business capital. You promote on social networks. You go to Chamber of Commerce meetings and associations, and we have a chamber program that says this. If you join a Chamber of Commerce, there's usually an enrollment fee. We will reimburse your initiation fees up to $500 if and when you fund at least $100,000 of business capital from that chamber. So if you join your local chamber, mine's $300, let's say, and I go to those meetings and I end up having a couple clients get funded, and that totals $100,000 in funding from the chamber, then I just document proof to David Allen Capital that, look, here's my 3 clients, look, here they are in my chamber register, and boom, not only did you earn a nice commission of 4% minimum, but also we're going to send you your $300 Chamber of Commerce dues back to you. We're going to reimburse them. So we recommend you joining chambers and associations. They're very effective. They're made up of business owners, and you get a chance every time there's a meeting. You get a 30-second to 2-minute chance to just say, hey, I'm David with Business Capital. We represent providers who love to help all of you small business owners get capital. Big banks are great, but we know they can't help most businesses. So we're here to help you with a loan or advance, simple and fast. Here's my card. Just want you to know I'm your business capital money person. If we can help you, let me know. Here's my card here. Whenever you need fuel, we're your person. I mean, that's something you could say at a chamber meeting. You're meeting, greeting, and informing. Did I say, hey, you really should get a loan right now for this and that, and interest rates are at an all-time low, and it's time to come see me? And no, you're not selling anything. You're making available you have business capital for when they need it. And the last thing I'll just say is prospecting, advertising, and promoting. What does that mean? You're creative. You're in this training for a reason. You're an entrepreneurial person. Whether you have been in the past or not doesn't matter. You are right now. So you'll have other ideas too of how to prospect or promote or advertise this. But I will just say this. We look at it like gardening. You're planting seeds for a future harvest. If you talk to 100 business owners about this, and 100 business owners know that we're in business capital, let's say none of them needed capital right now. The odds say that 10 to 20 of them will need capital sometime in the next 90 days. And you'll have 10 to 20 clients in the next 90 days from those 100 business owners. What if you talk to 1,000? Odds say you'll have 100 to 200 business owners in the next 90 days. So what you want to do now is don't worry about if you put a seed in the soil, you don't say, hey, where's my tomatoes? I put a seed in last night. Where's my tomatoes? No. You plant the seed, you take care of the soil, you tend to it, you work the relationship with that plant, and eventually you protect that plant, and eventually you have tomatoes. It's the same thing with this. Don't worry about how much money you make today. Get out there and build relationships, meet, greet, and inform. This is a drop card that we give. This is our favorite tool. You give a drop card, you leave behind, it's the size of a postcard. It talks about, it's great leave behind. And it's got all the information on the back. Of course, your information would be in the white box there. And it tells about the capital. And these are great. So when I say, I'll give you an example of what we say and how we use this. Let's say I walk in and I'm talking to a business owner I don't know. If it's someone I do know, I'd say, hey, Joe, how you doing? Hey, I just want you to know I'm now in business capital. I'm now in business capital. I wouldn't say I just want to introduce myself. But this is what I'd say if I didn't know you. Let's say I just drove by your cement truck on the freeway, and it says, Bill's Cement Concrete Company, and I call the phone number on the side. And I say, hey, is Bill available? And they say, yeah, this happens to be Bill. You got me. Great. Hey, Bill, listen, the reason I'm calling, my name's Dave. You don't know me directly, actually. I'm just calling to introduce myself. I was just driving by you on the freeway, or one of your trucks anyway. I thought I'd give you a call, introduce myself. Why? Because I'm in business capital. And we love to actually get money for cement companies like you. So if ever you have an opportunity you want to pursue, you're in a need, I want you to know when the big banks can't help you, we can. I just want you to know who I am. Would it be ridiculous of me to send you an email with my information to keep on file in case you ever have an opportunity or a need we could help you? No, sure, send me some information. And I email on my website. Or let's say I'm there live. Say the same thing. Hey, I just want to introduce myself, Bill. My name's Dave. I'm with David Allen Capital. Just want to introduce myself and give you my card. And I hand out that drop card, that postcard. Because we're in business capital. We love to help get money for hair salons like you. So, man, if you ever have an opportunity to expand or grow or another location or marketing campaign, whatever it is, or heck, if you're ever even in a tight pinch, I want you to know we can get you capital, simple and fast. Big banks are great, but they usually can't help with business loans. We can help you. Here's my card. So just keep it on file, and if I can ever help you, let me know. Now, if they need capital now, they'll ask questions, but usually they go, hey, thanks, I appreciate it. I'll keep it on file. So a sample of what we say, I just said it, and we keep it in bullet point form. We don't want to teach you a script. We teach you a way to speak, which is introduce yourself. You're in business capital. You represent companies who love to help owners like them. You want to help them get funding. You just want to leave this card in case you ever have an opportunity you want to pursue, or if you're ever in a pinch. We can help you get access to quick funding. When the big banks can't, we usually can. It's simple, it's fast, and it's based on your sales more than your credit score. And then again, you get them to your website, and we take over from there. Simple? Okay, let's bring this to a wrap up here. Couple things: renewals, refinancing, and other types of funding. Number one, renewals and refinancing. Once one of your clients has paid off at least half of their funding, so let's say they owed $100,000 when they started, and they now only owe $50,000. At that point, our providers will notify us, hey, your client is now eligible for funding, renewal funding. And we could go back to them and get them more money. If all else, not always guaranteed, but usually if things haven't changed, their sales are still continuing the way they were, and business as usual is happening, we can usually get them more money. Guess what happens? They get new cash, you get more pay. We can also do something called the refinance, which is maybe take them to a whole new provider. If we took them to a whole new provider, we'd get them a new $100,000 advance, pay off their old one. You'd get paid on the full $100,000 because it's a new advance. So if it's a refinance, you get paid on the new money. If it's a refinance, you get paid. If it's a renewal, you get paid on the difference, the new money, because they're getting it from the same provider. So they just get $50,000 more, let's say. But if you go to a new provider altogether, that's a refinance, and you got $100,000, you get paid on the full $100,000. Okay, but we don't move a client unless we can find a better offer for them. Many times we can. Okay, other types of funding. We've launched some other types of funding. Okay, they use the same application and the same process. You don't have to worry about it. There's two types of funding we have now: equipment financing and advances with collateral as a last resort for approval. So I'm just going to touch on this, and I'm going to talk about the equipment financing real quick. Let's talk about number two, advances with collateral as a last resort. You don't even need to lead with this or talk about this. This is if we can't get a client approved, and we could then say to them, hey, listen, you're looking for $100,000. We couldn't get you approved. We might be able to get you approved if you have collateral to put up. And we do maybe 1%, not even that, 1 out of every 300 deals. We may use this number two here. So we don't even want you to lead with this or talk about this. It's just nice to know that we have it. Sometimes it makes sense. Like, let's say someone's approved for $100,000, but they want $150,000. And they're like, we need $150,000, so we can't get you $150,000. We do have a provider who might be able to get you $150,000, but you'd have to put up collateral. And we're not a big fan of collateral. We're willing to do it if you want us to. And if they say, yeah, let me go, I'd be interested in put up collateral. Then it turns into a 1 month long process, by the way. It's very long. We don't like doing it. It's not, doesn't lengthen the terms. It doesn't lower the price. None of that. It just puts their collateral up. So we don't like it. But we do have it because there's been a case or two where it's been the best thing for the client because they wanted a lot more money than they could get approved for. All right, so we do have that, but we're not an asset-based, collateral-based lender. We just have this available. Number one there, equipment financing. Let's talk about that. That is everything except cars. So we're talking dump trucks. We're talking chiropractic medical devices, medical equipment, x-ray machines, MRI machines, multiple, you have a business center where they need 15 copy machines, whatever. Some of these companies have built-in leasing, but we do equipment leasing, equipment financing now. And the way it works, it's the same documents. You fill out the form the same way. You just say you want for equipment financing. Okay, the required documents are the same, but if it's up to 20,000 equipment, there's one other document that's required that we get from your client. It's the equipment proposal, right? It's, okay, you want to buy 13 massage beds for your new Planet Fitnesses, okay? There's 13 massage, we need the sales order, so we would need the vendor proposal of the equipment they're wanting to buy, right? So that's the only other document we need other than the documents we already had listed earlier in this training. Okay. Now, if it's over $20,000 to $75,000 in leasing, then we'd also need 2 years tax returns and some income statements, which is your profit loss statement and your balance sheet. So now we need some financials. Okay, but they can get 20 to 75 grand in leasing, right, to buy that equipment. 75 grand and up, same as all the top three documents, but we'd also now need 3 years tax return instead of 2. So when does equipment financing come in handy versus just getting an advance from us, right, or a loan? Equipment financing is great if they want to spread out the terms over a long term. So maybe they're going to lease this equipment for 5 years, so their monthly payment will be real low compared to if they got, let's say it's $50,000 they're getting for equipment. If they do equipment financing over 5 years, they might pay a lot less per month, And so that means that 50 grand becomes a lot more affordable for them rather than getting in a $50,000 advance or loan from us, which they got to pay back in a year or 2 years or 8 months, right? Which their monthly payment would be much higher. So sometimes equipment finance is better. Now, of course, their equipment is collateral. If they don't make the payment, the equipment's taken back, right? So it's just like people who've bought a car or leased a car. You're leasing the car. If you don't make the payment, the car is taken back. So here with the equipment financing, the equipment is collateral, right? If they don't pay for the equipment gets repossessed from them. So, but it is far more affordable. The commissions on this are the same as business funding. Okay, pretty cool. You get paid on the funded value, same percentages. All right, and we'll be doing a separate equipment financing training you'll want to watch. Agent support. Let's end this training. Best way to get agent support is from the person who enrolled you. But why is it important that you also know about DAC? Because as you're going through training, know that you're learning from people who are learning from people who are learning from people. And there's whisper down the lane or distortion of information. So we say plug into the source for all your training. Plug into the source for all of your training, which is our video and our agent resource centers and our live trainings. Follow our simple system. Go through our tools, watch our videos, use our resource center. Okay, attend the live Tuesday night webinars with our leading experts who go through training. Attend our Thursday webinars. Whatever webinars we have, attend them. And of course, your team leadership. Somewhere in your team, there's a leader. Get to know them. Build a relationship with them personally. That helps. They'll hold you accountable and help you achieve success. And lastly, agent support. We do agent support, of course, your leader, whoever your leader is, whoever enrolled you. Your enroller is there to support you. Their team leadership is there to support you. But we also have our Agent Resource Center, which is at the footer of your DAC website. Also, the agent support is support@davidallencapital.com. Status updates, as I already talked about, submissions at davidallencapital.com. And of course, join our Facebook group where it's a community of people talking over and over. You go to facebook.com/group/DAC agents. Okay? Summary of this training. We've got a great opportunity, of course. We're giving fuel to business owners. You simply refer the clients. We do the work from there. The process from pre-qual to funding is simple. It's all done online. There is renewals and refinancing and other types of funding now that we help with. And, of course, agent support. Now, keep in mind, we have other services, too. This was business funding. We have telecommunications, we have healthcare, and we have more to come. Make sure you look at those trainings as well if you want to focus with those. But DAC funding and DAC equipment financing is the biggest upfront money. But there's great residual in all the others, and all of them are great services, so you want to get to know about all of them. We thank you for being a part of DAC. I'd watch this over and over until you can repeat it. Hopefully you found value in this. We appreciate that you believe what we believe, that you want to help serve clients, that you want to help give them fuel to grow their business. You know they may not need it today, but you know they need to know about you, so when they need it, you're the person they call. Thank you for being a part of our family. Thank you for being a part of DAC, and go make it happen. We're here to help you. God bless you. Make it a great day.